Why do you keep saying it's private?
If you're a resident in rural Texas, what do you do when a county that's fixed the streets to your home for decades suddenly stops maintaining them? That's what some families in this neighborhood just outside Cedar Park are trying to decide after a legal review recently revealed those roads are actually private. After a viewer tip, KXAN Investigates Taylor Alanis spoke with Williamson County officials and neighbors to see how they are finding a path forward.
We have everything from raccoons to deer to squirrels and hawks and dove, and we love that.
Amid the sounds of wildlife. From Pat Hudspeth's property, you can faintly hear the Vista Ridge High School band practicing in the distance.
We've been here for over 20 years, and it's been wonderful.
It's one of the reasons he and others like Andriel Rotzler chose to live in this neighborhood outside Cedar Park.
This was just a little bit of country, but still in commutable distance to downtown Austin.
We love the peace and the quiet.
That all changed earlier this year.
To the public. Why do you keep saying it's private?
When Williamson County said it would stop maintaining the only 3 roads there.
Turns out that the roads in their neighborhood were never properly dedicated to the county.
Cynthia Long, commissioner for Precinct 2, says the county is working to replace a crumbling culvert with a new bridge leading into the neighborhood.
So that's when we sort of figured out that these were actually private roads.
The 4 families closest to the culvert signed over part of their land so the county could get started on the bridge, but dozens of others remain undecided.
If we can't get the proper documentation in place that says it's a public road that we legally can go maintain, then it slips until we get that done.
After a heated meeting with residents, the county agreed to draw up a perpetual public roadway easement. The easement has 3 streets, including right here on Sunrise Terrace, from the center of the road to 20 feet on either side. Under this easement proposal, residents would still own the land, but they're giving permission to the county to provide maintenance to the roads.
This is the county going above and beyond, trying to help resolve this problem. And so we want to get it done as quickly as possible so that we can treat these as county roads and maintain them.
But some property owners say the paperwork they've received is too vague.
It gives them a little bit too much availability to our property. They could take anything down.
Fearing anything within 10 feet from the existing road could be in jeopardy if the county expands the plan in the future.
Several property owners have beautiful wrought iron fences and beautiful brick columns holding up these wrought iron fences and gates. Expensive.
The pros of that are the landowner keeps the underlying fee. The cons are there's still land they'll be paying property taxes on, and really they won't have much use for it.
Matt Hurt is a property attorney in the Dallas area.
The concern for a landowner, if I'm a landowner, is, okay, if I give you the easement, you county have the maintenance obligation, but what happens if the county doesn't perform the maintenance obligation?
Some here say they're consulting with their own attorneys and want more specifics added to the easement before handing it to the county.
I can't, in good faith, sign something that gives such a vague and open-ended rights to somebody on the property without, a compromise, a red line negotiation.
Construction continues on the bridge because the families closest to it deeded over their land. As for the roads on the other side, they remain in limbo.
I'd also like to understand, what's the future plan? Just be transparent. Share with us what you're planning to do.
In Williamson County, Taylor Alanis, KXAN Investigates.
And the county sets the upcoming year's maintenance schedule by mid-October, so it is asking residents to make a decision by the 17th. Property attorney Matt Hurt says the verbiage in the easement document is typical, but the situation is unusual. You can read more online from his interview and why some are blaming the concern on the original developers from 1977. It's all in the story in the investigation section of KXAN.com.
In a rural part of Williamson County, a neighborhood is battling with the county over rights to their roads. It comes after a discovery that shocked both residents and county officials. This week on Inside the Investigation, investigative reporter Taylor Alanis breaks down why neighbors worry about the future of their community.
Thanks for joining us for this week's Inside the Investigation. I'm Kelly Wiley, and with me in the studio this week is a very special guest. This is our newest addition to our investigative team, investigative reporter Taylor Alanis. Taylor, welcome.
Thanks, Kelly. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited this is such a good idea to have Inside the Investigation and explain our stories, especially when it's just a casual conversation. It's just a better way to talk about our process and to help people understand the story. So
I'm happy you're here. And as we were kind of thinking about what we wanted to talk about for your story, I realized you guys are in for such a treat because this is Taylor's venue. She loves to just talk about her story. So let's get into it. All right. So for your very first KXAN investigation, you're looking at a hot topic, one that we see people very interested in on our website, and that's property rights, specifically the situation that a Williamson County neighborhood is dealing with us. Break it down for us. What's going on?
Okay, so Cedar Park, it's a smaller city just north of Austin, and this neighborhood is kind of outside Cedar Park. So when you're going there, you're like, oh, there's the Target, there's the shopping center, and then you go into this side road, and there's this small neighborhood. It's literally a square or rectangle of 4 streets, and there's only one way in and out. There is a bridge there, and it's kind of cool because when I talked to the neighbors there, they were like, it feels very rural. You can hear the wildlife. We have livestock out here. It's very quiet. But down the street, you can hear the high school band playing. We're within, it feels like arm reach of, Target or, places you go every day.
Yeah. And you were mentioning that on the way into this neighborhood, it's kind of a weird situation. Explain how they get in and out.
So there is a single kind of bridge that it's the only way in and out of this neighborhood, and it has a culvert underneath. And this whole story started because the county was looking at this culvert that was actually falling apart and needed to build a bridge over it. And when I say it's falling apart, I mean there's only it had 2 lanes, one way in, one way out. Goodness. But now, part of it is kind of falling off. I don't know if y'all saw in the video, but you have to wait for the other car to pass basically before you can. So you can imagine how frustrating that is because even though it's only 60 families that live in this neighborhood, they have to cross that bridge every day to get to and from their home. So because of that, the county wanted to go in and fix it. And when they did that, they looked at deeds and everything for the area and realized that that road was not public. It's actually private.
Yikes. So how did they not realize before now that it was private?
So yeah, they had been maintaining these roads in this neighborhood for 50 years. It was a neighborhood established in the 70s. And like I said, when they went back and looked, they found this deed from back then from the original founder that actually gave the rights to the road to the county. It was a document that basically said, hey, there's 40 feet dedicated for a public road. But the thing is, that was only one step of several to make that happen. And unfortunately, back in the 70s, the founder nor the county actually did those extra steps. So when they were trying to figure out what to do with the bridge and how to continue maintaining the roads that they've been maintaining for 50 years, they were like, oh, we can't. And not only, they're not obligated to, but also they legally can't because that's taxpayer money, and this is a private neighborhood.
The devil's in the details.
Yes,
Right.
Very much so.
So what does that mean now for the families wanting this maintenance on this kind of way in and out of their neighborhood?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, it's really upsetting because, these roads are actually very well paved, and that's something that the neighbors noted. They were like, they've done a great job about filling potholes and making sure the grass was trimmed on the side of the road. Well, now if if they don't allow the county to maintain the roads, which I'll tell you in a second how they're going to do that, they basically would have to do it themselves. So, back in the 70s, I mean, there were HOAs, but this neighborhood never had an HOA established. So they don't have a general fund that they allocate money to for things like road maintenance or like roof repair, anything like that. So now they have to basically sign a document that would give the roads back to the county.
And I'm guessing that's not going well.
No, it isn't, because this easement, it's basically like the landowners are going to keep this land. It's still their land, but they're basically allowing the county to use it. And the problem with the document is a lot of neighbors feel like it's too vague. It gives the county too much access to their land.
Okay, what kind of power are they worried about? Like, what are they worried will happen down the line?
So the easement includes basically like the center of the road and 20 feet on either side. The road itself is about 10 feet on either side, and then there has to be 10 more feet, which that starts going into like, the grass and the areas on the side of their homes. So on the side of the road, there's wrought iron fences that are super expensive. There's brick columns, there's gates. There's a lot of different items that these neighbors put a lot of money into. And basically, through the language now, if the county were to do something like expand that road in the future, the neighbors, it would be their own expense to get rid of that. So they could tear all of that down. And, if they had to replace the fence, it's up to the neighbors to fit that bill. So, yeah, they don't like that.
No, it makes sense. And I mean, so on the one hand, they're worried about kind of the sunken cost, right? Like if they were to do anything else, what does that mean for the things that we've already paid for and invested in? But you mentioned earlier, this is a really quiet neighborhood. They already feel like maybe development that's rapidly happening in Williamson County is inching closer and closer towards them. Is the concern also that this is a gateway to expanding the neighborhood in a way they don't want to happen?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, they're worried about a bigger expansion because even within the last 5 to 10 years, they said Cedar Park, it just feels like it's grown around them. And it is. This neighborhood is literally in the middle of Cedar Park. So, you get the rural elements, and then, over that bridge, there's all of the development. So I think there is a big concern of what could happen to that neighborhood in the future. And I mean, the reason why these families have been here for generations or bought these homes is because they like living in the country. They like that peaceful, quiet life. And this, some of them believe, could put that lifestyle in jeopardy.
So where do things stand now with all of this?
So right now, the neighbors that I've spoken to, because mind you, there aren't neighbors that are all on the side of, not signing this easement. Of course, there are some that are they just want to get it over with. They just want their roads to continue to be maintained. Now, the neighbors that I spoke with on camera said that they are going to be consulting with an attorney to see if they can add more specific language to the easement that gives them more protections under it. And they were actually given a deadline of October 17th to get back to the county with a decision, because there's also a maintenance schedule that gets put out for the following year. So to make sure they're on that maintenance schedule, they need to be able to tell the county what they want to do by then. So it's kind of up in the air right now. In the story I mentioned that it's kind of in limbo. So we're trying to see, what happens next. I am in touch with the county and the neighbors I spoke to, and, I'm asking them these last few days, hey, do you have any update yet? And they said, not yet, but we're staying on top of this story to see how it ends.
I'm curious, how many neighbors are there in that neighborhood? And you mentioned that some are ready to just get it over with. Can the county come in and just do maintenance for the neighbors who do want to sign it and already have? What does that look like?
So that's a really good question, because the document that was actually missing that we were talking about, we were talking about there were several steps that weren't taken, includes a plat. And what a plat is basically separates each piece of land by who owns it. And back then it was only one owner. Well, now there's 60 owners. So legally, the city or the county has to approach each individual family to sign this easement. And if they don't, and it's not a requirement, but just If you can imagine the county going out to maintenance this road and having to figure out or tell these contractors, hey, you can maintenance this part of the road, but you can't maintenance
Right.
that. Like the way they put it is like, we're not going to play hopscotch with this. So
Right.
we really need 100% of you guys to be on board.
Right, like only 6 feet of the road gets repaved.
Yeah, it's
the
a
other end.
lot. It's a lot for, the contractors. I mean, I get it. I understand both sides of the story. It's a frustrating situation that hopefully gets resolved soon. I hope everyone's happy at the end of this, the end of the situation.
Well, Taylor, thank you so much for breaking down this story. And you guys, you have to watch it if you haven't seen it. It's just, you also get a very heated city council or county meeting in there. So that's always entertaining to watch. But you can do that on KXAN.com right now under the Investigates tab. Taylor, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to have you back here many times. I'm Kelly Wiley. Thank you for joining us for this week's Inside the Investigation. We'll see you next time.